welcome to my channel. This is Crime in Court, and I am Heather, and I'm here to give you an update on what's been going on with the Scott Peterson case. So, this is an old case. Scott Peterson has been in prison for several years for unaliving his wife and their unborn son Connor, his wife Lacey, and his unborn son Connor. This happened in was it Luis Obispo, California? Something along those lines. And he has stated his innocence. He's declared his innocence ever since the beginning. But his actions could be very suspect at the time when Lacey was missing and he was having an affair with some woman named Amber Fry. And he was telling her that his wife was already deceased, like he was a widow. So I don't know. I don't know if he did it or not, but the LA Innocence Project thinks that Scott is innocent, and they are representing him now. So I wanted to give you this update because I think it's really interesting that the Innocence Project has taken on Scott Peterson's case. So let's see what Scripps News has to say about this on the Court TV website. All right, so Los Angeles, Scripps News. It's a case that captured the attention of a nation when Scott Peterson was convicted of killing his pregnant wife, Lacey Peterson, 27, when she was 8 months pregnant into the pregnancy. And now, after 2004 murder conviction and years behind bars for Peterson, the Los Angeles Project has confirmed that they are now investigating the case and seeking new evidence. So he has been in prison for 20 years. He was convicted in 2004. It's been almost 20 years that he's been in prison. All right. The unaliving case has seen many twists and turns over the years after the conviction 20 years ago that sent Scott Peterson to prison after Lacey Peterson was unalived in December 2022. So just 5 years after they were married. So they were not married a very long time. Lacey was due to deliver her baby in February. And I believe it was Christmas Day when she went missing. So the LA Innocence Project, which is independent of the well-known Innocence Project. So they are not affiliated with the Innocence Project, which has locations all over the place, but they still do pretty much the same thing. They represent people who they believe are innocent, and they try to go to trial for them and to get people exonerated. So LAIP represents the LA Innocence Project represents Scott Peterson and is investigating his claim of actual innocence. We find no further comment at this time, or we have no further comment, sorry. The LAIP said court motions will be publicly available through the Superior Court of California soon. In a statement to Court TV, Peterson's attorney, Pat Harris, said, "We are thrilled, quote, we are thrilled to have the incredibly skilled attorneys at the LA Innocence Project and their expertise becoming involved in the efforts to prove Scott's innocence," end quote. So Peterson's own attorney, I don't know if he'll be working with the Innocence Project. I'm sure they'll be working and coordinating hand in hand. But so it doesn't appear that even Peterson's attorney, well, I don't know. Maybe they did reach out to LA Innocence Project to see if they would represent Scott. But either way, we've got his attorney and now the LA Innocence Project representing him and declaring his innocence. All right, so in April 2023, Peterson filed a petition asking to be put before a judge citing claims of juror misconduct during his trial, and he urged a court to seek, quote, new evidence, end quote, in his case to try and prove his innocence according to court documents. So that, I believe, is what this Innocence Project is trying to look into, is that new evidence. They're trying to, I believe, tie maybe some evidence that might have been found on the bodies of Lacey and Connor to tie it to there were some robberies happening across the street that same day, and their theory, the defense's theory, Scott Peterson's defense's theory, is that someone maybe Lacey interfered with the robbery that was going on across the street, or there was something nefarious about those people, the robbers, and they did something to Lacey. So either way, whether they did or didn't, it is something that I don't know if the police ever really looked into. So, court filings by reported on by multiple outlets said Peterson is seeking to eventually overturn his conviction. Yeah, so he wants to be exonerated. Scott Peterson, who was 32 at the time, is accused of dumping his wife's body in Berkeley Marina off of his fishing boat after he unalived her at their Modesto, California home in December 23. On December 23 or early December 24 of 2022. So I'm sorry, it was Christmas Eve when apparently she disappeared. But they're saying that Scott could have had the opportunity to unalive her on the 23rd or early morning of the 24th. In April 2003, Lacey and her baby Connor's bodies washed up on the shore of San Francisco Bay. The exact location, time, and cause of Lacey's death were never determined. Peterson's attorneys argued that Scott's wife could have been at the wrong place at the wrong time and come upon a burglary in progress when she was killed, which is referring to the burglary that was happening across the street to their neighbors' homes. Prosecutors argued that Peterson attempted to cover up the crime and convince police that his wife went missing. So they don't believe that Scott's innocent. They think he had something to do with it, and that he's lying about her missing. So as Court TV reported, Scott was convicted on 2 counts of first-degree murder during a 2004 trial. A jury sentenced him to be unalived. His unaliving sentence was later overturned by the California Supreme Court in August of 2022. 2 months later, California ordered a lower court to review allegations of juror misconduct. And this story was originally published by Scribs on E.W. Scribs Company. Okay. So that's a picture of their house in Modesto, California. What other pictures do we have here? Just different pictures of Scott. I don't know, they're not going larger. Anyways, so that is kind of what's going on. They, I saw an interview, I think it was on Court TV or Law and Crime, where one of his attorneys was talking about how they're trying to get the biological evidence off of the bodies and trying to compare and contrast it to the robbers and, the DNA that was left behind on the furniture and things like that, because they actually did find a van like the very next day that had been burnt, and there was a mattress inside and there was blood on it. They don't, I'm not saying that it is tied with Lacey or anything like that, but that is, it was in the neighborhood. So, I mean, I don't know. I've watched many documentaries on this. I have deep dived into this case many times. I've revisited it over and over. I remember paying attention to it when it first happened. I just find it fascinating. I still think, he may be guilty of sin, but he's been stating his innocence from the very beginning. And I do believe that our media, trial by media, everyone is guilty before they even go into trial. And the media, it portrays them that way. Look at how they're portraying Brian Koberger. I can't stand it. So I'm going to do a deep dive into the Idaho 4 probable cause affidavit, and we'll look at that too, because there's so much going on in that. But anyways, just yeah. um, I feel that Scott was um, definitely portrayed by the media as a monster. And whether he is or isn't for the media to decide, it's for the jury to. And maybe that's why they are protecting all the information that they have in Idaho for. I don't know. But potentially they're trying to avoid what happened to Scott Peterson. But I think it's already happened. And in most of Americans' mind, he's guilty if they haven't been paying attention to the court filings. Court filings are everything. That's where all the meat and the juice is. It's interesting to go through the court filings. So I would love to see what the court filings are. Um, all the motions being publicly made available through the Superior Court of California soon. I would like to follow along. Let me know if you would like to follow along by liking this video, commenting, and definitely don't forget to subscribe. It helps your algorithm so that you get videos that are interesting to you, and it helps me to push this video further along to more people so I can get more viewers, more subscribers, as I am a new channel, and I really would appreciate more views and more likes and subscribes. So if you could please do that for me, I appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Bye. What happened? Oh, whoops.